Hi, everyone. I'm Taylor Combaluzier, a mining analyst at Red Cloud Securities. This session of our Pre-PDAC mining showcase will feature Galleon Gold. From the company, we have with us David Russell, President, CEO, and Chairman. I'll note that if any attendees have questions throughout the presentation, to just type it in via the Q&A box in the CVent application, and we'll get to them during the end of the presentation. And I'll note the company presentation is available on our website. So with that, I'll turn it right over to David to guide us through the story.
Great. Thank you, Taylor. I want to thank everyone for being here this afternoon and listening to the story on Galleon Gold, and especially Red Cloud Financial Group for having us or hosting us. Now, the story here is a developing one. We're about a year and a quarter old as the new company called Galleon Gold. We're traded on the TSX exchange as GGO.B. You can also get an older trading platform, PNCKF, on the pink sheets on the US side if you're from the US there. Now, what our story really is a lot of different projects, but just one we're going to focus on called West Cache Gold Project. It's the Duster Porcupine Trend in the Timmins Camp. This is a very exciting area because we're only 13 kilometers out of town on the main part of the trend. So as we go, cautionary statement, I'm sure everyone reads that. But let's get right into it on the project. Okay, the West Cache project, the reason we actually did a merger with Linear Gold was to pick this project up. There's other projects, we'll get to those later. But right now what we'd said is, okay, this one's got 1,079,000 ounces on it. It's really what I call step 3 in a project of how do you bring a mine to production? You have the discovery phase, you have the first exploration phase, then you have the advanced exploration infill drilling on the PEA. Then you have the pre-feasibility followed by feasibility and then bring a mine into production. We're in phase 3 right now, the advanced exploration, infill drilling, doing PEA work. And what that means is what we're doing is taking their database, which is 325 core holes. We've now added another 177 core holes to the database, 38,000 meters of drilling that we've done. And have we infill drilled? Yes, the east pit, west pit, we've done what's called the gap area between the pits. And we discovered a zone in the footwall side in a sediment package, which is different than the quartz feldspar porphyries. And it's a very exciting zone that it's about 10 meters wide. And it's running, let's say, 7 to 12 gram, maybe 15 gram gold. So it's a very uniform system that we're enjoying drilling. Now, in between, when you get geared up to this to move on to more of what I call the underground feasibility study, you've got to actually do quite a few studies. So we've got Story Environmental preparing, doing the hydrologic work, the flora and fauna, and that sort of thing. We also got an order, which was very great to have right now from the Surveyor General's office to survey the property and go to lease. You've got to go to lease to actually bring it into production. So that's underway. I'll look for that in the next 3 or 4 months being completed. Now we're moving on with the PEA study. P&E Consultants out of Toronto has been working on this project from day one, and they're targeting the second quarter, maybe May of 2021 to turn out the PEA study. That's what's going to value this company. So when we're looking at the share capital, it's a little high. We'll rectify that later. And the share price jumps up and down with the gold price or whatever's happening with bonds and that sort of thing. So I won't dwell on that much. But we do have cash on hand of about 4.88 million, or excuse me, 5 million to work with. So we have plenty to actually finish the PEA study and take us down to the next step, which will be the pre-feasibility study toward year's end. Now, to guide us, obviously myself, I've done this before. I was associated with a lot of different companies from Getchell Gold, Placer Dome on the merger. I was with Lac Minerals earlier and merged with Barrick. I've got an extensive background in developing open pits and underground mines. And up in Timmins Camp, the Black Fox mine, which is now owned by McEwen Mining. Now on our board, we've got Chris DuPont, mining engineer. He was the CEO of Explore. Mario Calantonio, professional engineer. Michael Hobart, he's a securities and mining attorney out of Toronto, very seasoned. Worked with him on many boards. Thomas Kaufman, the former founder, chairman of M Partners, the banking group out of Toronto. Gerhard Merkel, some of our investors out of Germany appointed Gerhard's a great business guy, has a good head on his shoulders. Dick Nana, my former partner with Apollo Gold, where we had the Black Fox project in Timmins. JT O'Neill's worked with me in many companies, and JT is now the CFO for Eric Sprott, who is our largest shareholder with Sprott Capital. Now, where are we actually located? Say about a 2-hour air flight northwest of Toronto. Say in 2 hours, you can land in the Timmins Airport there. You can be out in the mine site within 40 minutes. The Highway 101 bisects us. We've got the power line, the gas line, all the infrastructure you need for a mining project. We've got airports, rail, hospital. You know, you couldn't ask for a better mining-friendly environment. And there's a skilled workforce from drillers to geologists to core cutters, everything you need to get yourself off the ground as a mining project or a mining company. Now, we're also located just 7 kilometers east to the northeast of Pan American Silver Lakeshore Mine. If you keep going, you'll hit the Bell Creek project. And right in the Timmins camp, Newmont has got everything that Dome had there. So anyway, we're surrounded by big mining groups, and we're in the heart of the country here. The Hollinger McIntyre mines, we'll touch on those. The First Nations, the Flying Post First Nations, Chief Ray Murray, and Matagami First Nations, the Chief Chad Boissonneau. We've got a great relationship. We've got a memorandum of understanding with that group. So we have some great partners in on this project. Now, when we look at the camp itself, we say, okay, what have we got here? What we've got is the Black Fox stock mining mill that we developed, say, starting in 2002 and brought online. And we brought that online as a 75 to 80,000 ounce producer by 2008. And it was a 10-year plan. And now they're into their 12th year, and they still got 1 million or 2 ounces on the books, and they're doing very well up there. I got to hand it to those guys. They kept after the exploration in different areas, and they've done really well. So as you come down, if you can follow my pointer from this area that Dick Nana, my partner, and I developed for Apollo Gold years ago, down to the Hoyle, Almore, Pamour, Hollinger, McIntyre, Dome. Now, if you look at this area and then come down to us, take that footprint and lay it over, we've got about the same size of land package as you're looking at Hollinger, McIntyre, and Dome areas. And we're on the same structures. You know, the gold mineralization is very similar. Quartz feldspar porphyries, we've got some sediment units, we've got the right geology and the right address. But we're right next to Thunder Creek, the 144 gap for Lakeshore. And that's Pan American Silver, that roundabout way. It came from Lakeshore. Tony McCooch developed that, years ago, and then moved on to other companies, but he did a great job of that one, and it's still in production today. So now what we look at is where are we located on slide 8. Okay, Timmins is in the green on the slide to the left. Then you follow Highway 101 around, and it bisects our property right through it. And this would be called the south limb, and this is the north limb. There's some drilling on that, but what we said is, okay, let's take on the Wishcash gold zones right here within the red area. I then purchased the Dwyer property because I could see the structures running onto these patented pieces of ground. Now, the Dwyer family held this over 100 years till I called them and said, look, I think there's gold on your property. So we did business with them, bought the property, and then added to our portfolio. So we've got a fairly large land package. MPLH drilling, you see that's one of their rigs on the property. They started last June. Drilling by November, we added a second drill rig. And again, we've got 38,000 meters of core drilled in 177 core holes. Okay, we touched on the south limb. It's a mesothermal gold system in the Abitibi Greenstone Belt. That says a lot. We're in the right place. The mineralizations like the Hollinger and McIntyre gold mines that are very close and on strike to the northeast. And the way you designate, say, within the core, you see chalcopyrite, pyrite stringer veins, quartz tourmaline veins. It's all in a sheared up quartz feldspar porphyry. But one of the keys is we found the sediment unit sitting in the footwall of that, which is a little bit different geologically, but has much more uniform grades and widths. We're blessed, I guess, to have this. And the geologists that found it, I got my hats off to them. They did a great job. Now, this drilling indicates that basically we have a strike on this possibly of 4,000 or 4 kilometers. We're looking at only 2,000 meters right now by 900 meters wide. We can't take on the whole world, but we're actually trying to infill drill what was drilled in the past to upgrade it, bring on more what I call quality ounces. Now, these zones run anywhere from 1 meter to, let's say, 18 meters wide, 3.5 meters on an average. In the pits, they'll run 1 to 4 or 5 grams. The underground end of it will run anywhere, we'll say, from 3 grams to 30 grams. But it's all over the map because it's a gold deposit. Now, when we look at this, we say, okay, we've got all the drill holes laid out. And what does it look like underneath the cover, the 177 holes here? Well, here's what it looks like. You see all the holes sticking out. This isn't the previous drilling. This is our drilling. So what we've done, we've drilled off the East Pit area, the Gap area, the West Pit, and then Zone 9. And you can see some of the deeper holes. We're looking for some other zones to the south. And then when we look at it a little bit different, put fabric to it, we say, okay, the modeling in 2013, we have the shears here. You see all the drill holes. We're adding more of the shear to there. This is called the West Deep. This is what keyed us off on structure 9. There was a couple holes down here that were very high grade, and this is why I like this deposit. I thought it was part of the other quartz feldspar porphyry, but no, it was part of the sediment package that we projected near surface, and we hit it. So as we look, you can go through the grades. Now you can download this presentation and see all the grades. These is infill drilling, hole 1, all the way down. Just keep looking, 3, 2, 7, 5, the grams on there, and then we go on to number 58, 61. You can see some 9 gram, 5 gram. These are pretty high grade. We're looking at infill drilling on the pit area. But then we look at, okay, full 14, 15, 16 on the West Pit areas, gee whiz, that's a lot higher grade than the east side. Something's going on here. Well, then we went and hit in the south wall, Zone 9. And then we've got 20-30, 20-42. And we said, okay, we're off and running with a new zone. And you can see the grades here, 9 meters of 7 grams, or 3 meters of 14 grams, or 10 meters of 7 grams. So pretty consistent on the width and the grades on that zone. Then we look at this zone here and we say, okay, on a plan view, looking from an airplane down, where's everything located? Well, we had to back these holes up way down here to get underneath on this zone, number 9 in this area. That's all targeted with the red in this area, or the brownish red. The blue areas are all infill in the pit area here. And, I think we're off and running, with a great deposit, both quartz feldspar porphyry wise and sediment wise here. So then when we want to look at a cross section looking east, so we back up to the west and then we look to the east, we say, okay, what does this look like? Well, it looks like a good old vein structure here that's anywhere from, we'll say 8 meters to 12, 15 meters in width. It'll vary. And we're pending on a lot of holes. Just for backup wise, we're about 6,000 assays behind. So over the next month or two, we should see a lot of assays to come out. Now, this is another cross section looking east also. You can see the grades. I won't repeat the grades, but they're all pretty good grades showing on the structure. This also shows the West Pit, East Pit now in a different fashion when we're looking at, what are we looking at for blue sky here? Okay, we've got the number 9 vein structure superimposed on this area, but you can see a lot of snowbanks in this area that are not drilled. We've got a lot of work to do over the next 1, 2, 3 years as we develop this project. Now we kind of back up and then we look at this to the east again, and you can see we're targeting a lot of this area right in here down to vein 9, and then the deeper zones down here. Now the deeper zones here have some very high grade. And this is just a shot of the core from, we'll say 2010, and then we'll look at 2020 core. It almost mirrors at each other. The difference is we're 550 meters separated by the zones that we've got to drill off. These are some of the target high grades that we looked at originally, with 11 meters of 5 grams, 4 meters of 30, 11 meters of 9, and on down. We even got 7.8 meters, 114 grams. Well, that says you've really got a gold deposit here. You've got some awful high grade hits. You're in the right territory. So this is a kind of a summary of the drilling right here, where we're looking at it saying, okay, we've drilled the West Pit, we've drilled the East Pit area. We're looking out for more structures like Zone 9, and then we're also looking to the south. So stay tuned to the south here. Maybe a newer area we'll be looking at. I won't say much, but I'll say we have hit free gold. On this core, you can see under a microscope, you can see the free gold showing up. Now, that's really not normal to see free gold in this area like this, but we'll take it. We like the free gold. Another one, we look at the core, we look for pyrite, chalcopyrite. We see a dusting of a zinc cover. Doesn't hurt the recoveries. We've been seeing 95 to 97% in bottle roll studies. Very pretty pyrite, chalcopyrite in this core. Things are looking very good on that one. Now, what do we do with all this? Well, number one, we're going to survey. So the Surveyor General Office is having the survey done. We'll convert it to a lease status. We're permitting the project for mine closure, and an underground ramp system that will take us into what I call phase 4. That's pre-feasibility. We'll do a ramp system underground. We'll do some bulk samples. And what will turn out here in May is a preliminary economic assessment. They'll actually define what we need to do, and it'll define the value of the company. So we have an ongoing exploration program followed by pre-feasibility studies. So stay tuned toward the end of 2021-22 for the pre-feasibility study and the test mining of vein 9 underground. You know, how do we stack up? Well, we stack up pretty good for right now for being a starter company. We expect this time next year we'll be way on the left side here, more with the Wallbridge group. Now, with this, more of what I call a summary wrap up here, we're going to say, well, what are we? Well, we're a small mining company. We're in a premier mining jurisdiction. We've got well over 1 million ounces to work with in resource. We're turning out a PEA once we get done with the drill program, sending the data to P&E consultants for the preliminary economic assessment that's due out in May of 2021. And this will be an updated resource. What our target was to take that 1 million ounces and turn it into quality ounces, higher grade in the pit, higher grade underground. Now we've got financial support from Eric Sprott directly in his private money. He came in with us early on phase 1 and phase 2 of this project. And we really enjoy having him as a partner here. And I say partner because he's a 20% partner on one of the projects in Southern Idaho. We're not going to talk about today, but he is directly involved in the stock end of the company and partnership on the other project in Idaho. And we've got a proven experienced management team here. So, you know, with everybody, I didn't mention, we have Lisa Buchan, Vice President of Business Development, everything. We've got Nate Tewall, one of the primary geologists or exploration gold geologists in North America, working with us. And we've got the dream team up in Timmins, Canadian geologists working on the project. We've got core cutters. We've got a team of about 10 people doing the project. And my hat's off to them. They've done a wonderful job since last June developing this. So stay tuned for May. So with that, I'll quickly open it up for some questions, Taylor, if we've got a few.
Great. Thanks, David. So yeah, we'll get right to questions. You can type them into the chat as well, and I'll pose them now. So to start off, you know, as you said, there's a lot of, you know, outstanding results left to come in. You know, maybe once that kind of happens in Q2, as you said, you finish your resource update and everything, what else is kind of on the horizon for the company, like more drilling, exploration?
Yeah, well, we'd like to keep drilling, but like I said, we're backlogged, but we're trying to catch up by the end of March here. That's what we call a data cutoff. All the assays then have, on all the drilling, both the open pits, the underground, number 9 vein, have got to be transferred to P&E. They build their models. We'll be building our models, and that'll be the driver in the PEA study. And in the PEA study, it'll have a new resource base, both open pit, underground, and different categories. It'll actually have economics. That's one of the biggest key. What's your company value? Well, we can say, well, you know, we should be $1 a share. Well, you can talk all you want with hot air, but once you turn a PEA out, it'll have a valuation in there that the investors can look at and say, okay, that's the value of their stock. So that's what we're looking forward to. And then toward the end of the year, we expect to have the approvals from the ministry to start what I call phase 4, a ramp underground, to start developing vein 9, shipping ore off the property, metallurgical tests, whether it's Bell Creek, Newmont, we'll need a mill. And it'll be custom milled, and that will actually tell you what our recovery is.
Right. Okay. A question on the corporate side, saying you have a lot of shares outstanding. Is there any reverse split in the future?
You know, that's a really good question. We did put it on the slate with the shareholders. They voted for it. They said, go ahead and reconsolidate. You know, we pick it, you know, whether it's 8-1, 10-1. But when? I think that's the key. When do we want to do that? My feeling, and I've talked to Eric Sprott, I've talked to CCM Capital out of Germany and other shareholders, they're prominent, and they've said, look, Dave, we'd like you to do it now. And I said, well, guys, why don't we wait till we have a valuation? We have a driver forward. You know, well, I've seen many companies say, well, we're reconsolidating, and then the share price slips. You get backwardation on the share price. I don't want to see that. I want to see us driving forward and have a reason to actually reverse split or consolidate on the shares. So let's look at that in the future, maybe May, June, when we get the PEA that's going to actually set the price of that stock.
Perfect. And with that, we are out of time right now. So I'd like to thank David for presenting Galleon Gold to us today.
Thank you, Taylor. I appreciate everyone listening in and your group, financial group, Red Cloud, for hosting us here today.